Hey guys, I'm over at Lincoln Street Woodworks. This is my buddy John. I don't have a domino and I wanted to try one, so he let me check this thing out. What else does this do, John?
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
Nothing else.
Before we get started, I want to make sure everybody understands I'm not picking on Festool. They make really high quality tools. But for me to spend $1,200 to $1,500 on a tool that's single purpose is probably not in my decision-making dynamic. So I challenged myself to build an inexpensive homemade device that could do even more than the Festool. Not just make, a few different size slots, but something that had function beyond just making mortises. And I'm really excited to tell everybody it succeeded beyond my expectations. In the woodworking world, this concept isn't anything new, especially in the professional woodworking world. Horizontal slot mortising machines can be found all over the place. What is new about this is that we built this entire thing for under $100. We used some miscellaneous scrap plywood that was laying around our shop, a $49 router, some inexpensive bits, and $12 to $14 in knobs to build this. So this was well under $100 to build this entire project. Let's start with the bad. First of all, this is nowhere near as portable as the domino. You have to bring the work to the tool. And the dust collection, well, there is none. But there's some pretty good things about it too. We'll save those for the end of the video. For those of you who are wondering, yes, there'll be plans available for this, and if you're interested, you can build yourself one and save yourself $1,400. That's a lot of money. This whole project started out as more of an experiment than anything else. I wanted to test the efficacy of using plywood dovetail slide system instead of buying expensive linear rails or trying to modify some hardware. The dovetail slides worked fantastic and the whole project just exceeded any expectations. Now, we're going to try something a little bit different with this video. I'm not going to talk through the whole thing. I'm going to let you focus on the actual build. There will be a few talking points throughout the video, but nowhere near as many as normal. So this video is kind of performing two experiments at once. First of all, the build, and secondly, if anybody out there likes this kind of format. And if you do prefer it, let me know down in the comments section. I'll shut up now. So this is the base of our system. These are going to be the sliders for our system, and this is going to be how we mount material on it. Now, I'm building this a little oversized. I designed something like this a few days ago, and I really didn't like the way it was going, so I decided best just to build one, and we'll learn as we're building it. So off camera we finished up this handle, and that moves the router carriage, or where the router carriage sits, in and out. Now that's going to plunge the router bit into the material. Now we need to make something that slides this back and forth. And I had a different idea in my head when we started, but this is why we prototype. It didn't work out, or it wasn't going to work out after I thought about it more. So I want to do something similar to this with this, but to do that I need a platform off to the side that I can mount everything to make it all move like it's supposed to. Now if I would have 3D modeled it or thought of it before, I could have just made my little angled pieces here that hold that dovetail slide in longer, and I could have mounted it here. Sometimes you just gotta shift when things aren't going the way you want them to. This will work though. That'll do it. All right, I'm going to jump back in here. So to determine the size of our mortise, I'm just making 2 lines on the material on both the rail and stile. And I'm going to lock the piece down to the match fit top and then line the router bit up with those 2 lines. With both my start and stop positions locked in place, I lower the router bit down to where I want the router bit to engage the material. Now to set up for the second cut, I just move the router all the way to one end of the cut, line up the matching line to that router bit, and then clamp it in place and cut the next mortise. Off camera, we made some tenons, and I'll talk about that in here in a minute, but matching this way or lining everything up this way worked really, really well, and I gave myself just about a 1/16 of wiggle room, one direction or the other, and everything lined up perfectly. Now, when it comes to cost savings, there's something I really wanted to try with this project, and that's using straight bits to cut the mortises. I got some really inexpensive straight bits from Harbor Freight, and I bought some longer ones to test as well off of Amazon, and they worked really well. Now, you can't go quite as aggressive, only about 1/8 or maybe a little bit more than 1/8 deep per pass, but they worked really well, and the thing that I really like about that is that these are sharpenable, so not only are they inexpensive, but they're going to last a lot longer than a spiral bit. Cut quality, as long as you're not going too aggressive, is going to be really good as well. More importantly than the cost savings of the straight bit is that they're available in a lot more sizes than spiral bits are, and that will all fit into a 1/4 inch chuck on the trim router. So I can go up to 5/8 of an inch and 2 inches long to get those mortises as deep as I need them to be. Now this bit is just over 2.5 inches of cut capacity with a 1/4 inch shaft to fit in the trim router and a 3/8 diameter. I ordered some of these because I wanted to test those deeper mortises for wider boards, and it worked really well. Another thing I wanted the longer bits for were doing stepped through grooves, and that'll all make sense here as you watch this next cut sequence. Now this is for a 3/8 bolt, and this is an idea for a project I have coming down the pipe. But again, I used the straight bits and they performed really well, so I don't have to spend a bunch of money on the big spiral bits to get good performance. The dovetail slides on this are working absolutely fantastic. One of the concerns I had was buildup of, sawdust and stuff getting under them, but that has not been an issue at all, and we've used it extensively. Really happy with the way that's working. And one of the really nice things about this is if over time they start loosening, just putting a clamp on here, pulling these screws out and changing the screw position tightens them back up again. So this is going to be functional for many years to come. Another thing that was really handy, this machine also does, is doweling. So we just set up a stop position on both sides and drilled some holes and used it for dowels instead of doing dominoes, which a domino can't do. So you can do doweling with this as well. You see this little spacing in these homemade dominoes that we cut? We found that that's pretty important. So when there's the glue on the bottom of the hole and we push down, the glue squeezes out through those little grooves, making sure there's plenty of glue surface. To make them was really simple. We resawed some material on the bandsaw, used the planer to get it to the thickness we wanted, and then rounded over the sides and used what's called a wavy router bit to put these little grooves in, and that worked absolutely perfect. Another thing that we did off camera is make some accessories for this match fit top. I have this little match fit on the bottom and a piece of material that slides in that groove that keeps everything nice and square. So when I slide it into place, so I can just use this as my registration point. I also added some small toggle clamps to another match fit fixture so I can hold material up against the fence if I want to do elongated grooves or pass-throughs. These are working really nice. Now, I couldn't be happier with this build, and I have more ideas for this, but quite frankly, the video is getting pretty long, and this seems like a good time to call her quits. There are plans available in the description box below. Now, I want to make it clear that I have intentions of upgrading this. Anytime I do make an upgrade, I'll make sure that the plans are available to anybody who's already purchased the plans free of charge. That about wraps it up for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm interested in your feedback. What did you think of the long form content without all the talking points? Did you like that whole thing or not? Let me know down in the comment section below. Be sure to check out the plans, and we'll see you in the next video.